whiteboard.
Good job. Got the recording going. Yes, I see the
Okay.
whiteboard.
Okay, everybody can see the whiteboard. All right. Well, welcome. And my name's Tanya Jorgensen, and I think I know most of you. Just a little bit. And this is Skills for Life Thursday night, and tonight is Choice and Accountability. On our whiteboard, 2 weeks ago, we had thought, perception, and now we're on choice and accountability. The others are cause and effect, abundance and gratitude, health and healing, harmony and rhythm. And all of these work together and in conjunction and affect each other and go back and forth and all those wonderful things. The other items on our wonderful whiteboard is our community pieces, things that help us to remember skills and things that will help us to live our lives a little better. So HHF is our help my hair's on fire. Text anybody in the group that you need some extra energy, and we will stop whatever we're doing and send energy to you. The 4-step process, we've gone over that a few times. It's always good to remember. I know sometimes when I'm triggered, I forget. So it's one of those things I want to remember that particular tool works good for me. There's the universal 2x4. Those are the things that come up in our life that you go, oh, this has happened before. Oh, this again. Things that keep patterns that keep repeating themselves that you're like, oh, I guess I need to learn the lesson here. Because if you don't get it the first few times with the universal 2x4, sometimes you can get the Mack truck. And the Mack truck is the big stuff, big things that the universe sends that aren't so pleasant, not exactly working for me. And the acronym Pay Attention Inside Now is for anything. If you're in physical pain, emotional pain, spiritual pain, and any of those levels that it comes up for you, pay attention to it, deal with it. Get a session, use your 4-step process, possibly see a doctor. It depends on what it is that's going on with your body. And then the wonderful little circle with the slash through it is our cancel that. Use that all the time. And I'll in a little bit I'll explain a little more of that, because I've been really diligent lately about watching my languaging and really figuring out what works for me and what doesn't. Other items on our whiteboard are those available on here still? The whole protocol for the 4-step self-care?
Yeah, yes, they're.
Okay.
Do you see it now?
I can see it.
Yeah, it didn't change on mine.
Oh.
So yeah, there's other information there that can assist you, and you can download those things right off of here. Okay. I think that's it for the whiteboard.
Okay.
Thank you, Alan. Okay, awesome. All right. Hello, my name is, and then it went away. Okay. All right, so tonight, choice and accountability. It's really interesting. I just spent, well, it was a couple weeks ago, I went and did the 3-day intense training called Impact. And for some reason, some things that were said there just clicked in a little different way for me than had before. And I loved what they talked about when it really came to choices. And I've also been doing a lot of reading and looking at what affects my choices? So a lot of times our this computer that resides inside our skulls runs what we do a lot of the time. This is right where things are happening. And a lot of those patterns get set for us when we're little. They things happen to us and we process it and develop beliefs. We develop patterns. We go through and through life. Some of them we get handed, like our little story about the shoulds, the girl with the shoulds. Everybody in her life came to her and said, well, you should be sugar and spice and everything nice. And you should be this and you should be that. Till the point that she had so many shoulds that it became difficult for her to live her life. And so she chose to sit down and look at all those shoulds and figure out which ones were working for her and which ones weren't. And I'm doing that right now with beliefs and perceptions that I have, because our beliefs affect our perceptions. And I want to make choices from a little different level. I want to hopefully make choices that are going to bring me more peace and light and love and all the things I enjoy. So I'm also looking at how I can change, how I can make an impact on those things that may feel like I'm limiting my choices. So I know before I've talked about those situations when you feel like you have no choice. And my biggest learning with that was when I was in the hospital with a kidney stone. Because for me, doctors were scary, where I was absolutely petrified. My whole life, my dad was scared of doctors. And so I got that pattern, that belief from my dad. And anytime one of us was sick in the household, my dad would say, how sick are you? Can you go to school? Do you need to go to the doctor? If you heard, do you need to go to the doctor? The answer was, oh, no, no, I can go to school. I'm good.
Oh, wow.
So from between kindergarten and first grade until I was out of my parents' house and I was a nanny in Connecticut and I got a sinus infection. That was the first time I'd been to the doctor since I was 5, 6 years old. So, when I was in college, it took 6 nurses to hold me down just to get one blood draw.
Oh, wow.
I was that petrified. And I've worked and I've worked and I've worked on this belief, but not only just for me, but I watched it take my dad, because my dad was so afraid of doctors. When he got sick, he refused to go. He would go into a doctor and say, well, I need medication because I can't breathe. But he wouldn't let him do any tests to see what was actually going on with his body and why he couldn't breathe. They just figure, oh, he smoked most of his life. He probably has COPD. But he was never actually diagnosed with it, even though they were giving him medications for it. And it turned out that wasn't what the problem was. So I had a big real world experience of that belief doesn't work for me. Just didn't work. And so when I was in the hospital with the kidney stone, I was laying there and I did this. Oh, poor me.
Poor Tanya.
Poor Tanya. Poor Tanya has no choice.
You had to follow what they said, right?
I had a 10 millimeter kidney stone in my body, and my pain level was so
Oh,
high,
wow.
and the pain meds didn't help. So I had to say, okay, this has to change. This has to shift for me because this is not working for me. I have to allow them to do what they're going to do, and I'm going to be okay. And I just kept singing songs that I heard at souls and at trainings, and just kept myself as positive as I could so that I could get through it. Because sometimes changing those patterns of belief that affect our choices is so hard. It can be. And it can be like that too. Either way, for me, it was difficult. I'm choosing to make different choices because I was also able in that moment to see that there was a lot of little choices along the way that led me to believing I had no choice. I had choices all along the way. What I was eating, what I was taking for heartburn, different things contributed. And I had pain in my back for months. And I didn't use the pay attention inside now acronym. Because if I had, I would have found out that, yeah, there was something going on. And it may have been a little easier to deal with than having to have two different procedures to get rid of that thing.
So they
So
did have to surgically remove it?
they had to go in the first procedure, they put in a stent to keep the 10 millimeter kidney stone from going down my ureter, because that's what it wanted to do, was go to my bladder, and it was blocking the kidney, and that was what was causing the pain. So they pushed a stent up there, and then they left me for 2-3 weeks, and then I had to go back in, and they used the technology, the ultra, it's
To
a
break it up?
yeah, they blasted it,
Good.
so into smithereens, and then it could pass through my body. But I had to be put under twice, and I didn't know if I was going to react to anesthesia medication, any of those things. So that was my biggest learning on feeling like I didn't have a choice. So choices are interesting things. There's a lot of people have choice paralysis. I've learned. I thought that was really interesting. They feel like they can be overwhelmed by too many
You want
options.
some?
Sometimes feeling like there's too many options can lead to inaction.
I think
Some
Nancy has
people,
a comment.
oh, yep. Oh, I didn't see that. Now I do. Hi, Nancy.
Hey, question. The is part of just putting up with the pain is because you'd have to go to the doctor?
I chalked it up to chiropractic. That my back was just hurting because I had something going on. I needed to go see a chiropractor. And I had, and it felt a little better for a while, but it definitely didn't take care of my problem. So, but if I had gotten any other testing or gone to see any other doctor, they would have probably found it way faster than having that kind of pain hit me. So, pay attention inside now definitely would have helped me in that situation. Enough that now it's if something goes wrong, I'm going to get it checked out right away because I learned. And I'm changing my belief about doctors, period. That it can help me. It's another tool in my toolbox if something's going wrong with this physical thing that my spirit, my soul, whatever spark that is me has chosen to inhabit in this lifetime. I get to be in this body. And yeah, I want to take care of it better. So those are choices. They're gonna
I'm
help
glad you
me.
did.
Yeah. And it's choices that are gonna help me be physically better and on the planet longer. So
Yay.
yeah, yeah. So that's choices. And then the accountability part is I had to be able to sit back and say, okay, that didn't work. be accountable for the choices that I made before that led me to feeling like I had no choice, and change that behavior for me. Um, I also really, while I was at Impact, really started looking at, we've talked before about the difference between choice and deciding. So when you decide, it's the death of choice. The word decide actually means death. So pesticide, spermicide, homicide, it's a death. So decisions, to decide is the death of the choice. So I've actually started looking at things even more different from there, because a lot of times I want to label the choice. If it didn't necessarily turn out the way I would hoped, and the accountability part comes along, a lot of people want to say, well, that was the wrong choice.
Oh no.
And for me, that just feels like, okay, so I sit and feel that it's wrong. That word brings in guilt, shame, all kinds of stuff that I really don't need to live with. So instead, I'm looking, they encouraged us to look at it as, is it working for you or is it not working? That takes out that guilt and shame part and helps us to just be able to go, oh, okay, that didn't work. Let's make another choice,
Yeah. I
which
had a
is so awesome. Yeah, Alan.
I hate it when like a coworker said, everything you're doing is wrong. I said, okay, well, could you give me an example? No, and I don't have time to talk about it. It's like, okay, raise the fingers now. Now read between the lines, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and did that help you to become a better employee?
No.
You need feedback. Feedback is really important.
The yeah, that vague and just generalized, just saying basically it's really like saying you're just all wrong. You know, there's nothing about you that's right. And that was really hard to, I don't know, comprehend how somebody could be that much of a jerk, you know? It's a,
Mm-hmm. Well, there's also that word right. I I tell you, I think, and lately I see it as a game. I play this game with Eric all the time. He wants to be right. He's got to be right. It must be right. And I get so frustrated because I'm like, okay, that doesn't work for me. Because if somebody's right, it automatically means somebody's got to be wrong. And be right fighting in a relationship just doesn't work. It really doesn't. Because someone's always going to feel superior, and then someone's going to feel guilt and shame that they're wrong. So that's why I've been looking at it, and this is what they taught us in Impact, to use the words, this is working for me, and that didn't work. So on the accountability part, if I made a choice and then something came along that showed me that that choice just isn't working, I can take accountability for that and choose again. Really, I it just kind of, it blew some circuits in my brain just a little bit.
yeah, I can
Especially
I can
since
feel
you
that,
had
you know?
heard that at Souls with Stamina how many times.
Yeah,
It's so good to hear it another place, and you just, I know what you mean by, oh, you finally hear it, you know.
Yeah.
yeah. The pieces just finally clicked. And at the time I was also listening to some books and stuff. So I've been listening to this one, I've been reading it too. It's Excuses Be Gone by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And he really looks at those patterns. And he was talking about the patterns that we have developed over time. He calls them a meme. And it goes back to a scientific research called memetics. And I found that interesting because we nowadays with the internet, we pass around memes all the time. And he talks about memes being infectious
Mm.
because we pass them on. We pass them on to our kids. We pass them on to other people. Oh, you know that this works better for that than anything else. You know, whatever little nuggets of wisdom we pass around. Sometimes that's a choice that doesn't work for somebody, but we get invested in them and we hold on to them. And so he does some different things to help and to help you to look at those basic beliefs that may be limiting your choices so that you can make a different choice. And I found this one really interesting. I was also listening to um, Byron Katie, um, Loving What Is. I was listening to that on my um, in the car on the way to Utah and back. And just really examining what some of those things are that are limiting me. It feels like I'm limiting my choices. And I loved that they passed out these little guys at Impact, and he has a P on his belly. They wrote a P on him, and he is my possibility buddy. And he's around to remind me that there's so many possibilities. So, have you ever played the game where you have everybody on one side of a field and you want to move everybody to the other end of the field?
Mhm.
And everybody has to walk from one end to the other one at a time, but you have to do it a different way.
Mhm.
Some people skip, some people jump, whatever little different thing they do all the way across. Well, there was over 100 of us at this training.
Oh.
And when they tell you, okay, you've got to go from here to there and you have to do it different. And if you don't, they're going to send you back and you got to come up with something else.
Yeah.
It was so easy once you got there and you were like, oh, I'll just do this. And it was different. And a lot of times we think our choices are limited, but there's probably 100 different things we could do. There's probably 10 good ones, but 100 different choices we could try. And if we're not putting guilt and shame on it by making it right or wrong, then it's totally chill if it didn't work to make another choice. Try something else. And the cool thing about that exercise, they actually had us do it twice. You had to go all the way to one end of the room and then all the way back. So really there was 200 possibilities in
Wow.
that room of what you could do to get from one end to the other.
Tanya, I don't know if you remember this from Personal Power last year, but one of the reasons why you want to choose instead of decide is that personally empowered people, if you choose, you don't have to defend
Yes.
that being right or wrong. You just make a new choice depending on whether it's working or not, and that personally empowered people get that, and it's so much easier for them to shift and to try something else on. So I just remember that that was a big discussion back in the class, and it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I get to choose again. And it's also taking away some of the choice paralysis too, because try it. Well, there is no try, but give it a shot and see how it goes. and if it doesn't work, make another choice. Yeah, I remember that about defending it because this is another argument I have with Eric all the time. I have a very limited diet. It's another one of those patterns handed down to me from not just DNA, genetics, and family, but habit. And I just have very limited food choices. And Eric always says to me, "Oh, just eat the hamburger with the cheese on it." And I'm like, "No." And in the past, I've had to defend that. I've felt like I've had to defend that. Finally, whenever he says to me, "Oh, well, you can just eat that. It's got this and this on it." No, I choose what I eat. And that's not what I'm choosing, and I'm okay with that. It totally took away the argument. Totally. Because I wasn't defending it. I wasn't putting in the energy to fight him about it. It's just, no, that's what I choose. Today, I'm choosing this. So, those are the main things I've been working on when it comes to choice and accountability is using different verbiage as far as this is working for me, that didn't work for me, instead of using right and wrong. I'm also looking at my excuses, because we do very much get in our comfort zone. And believe me, going to Impact was way out of my comfort zone. Even having been to Rapid Eye Trainings and Souls with Stamina, Impact was a whole nother level of people yelling at you. And I was triggered to the max. and but I learned something there. I choose to learn a little easier than that most of the time. Universe, please. But it was quite an interesting experience. And um yeah, now I just lost where my brain was going. Yeah, so I have a activity, and because we're virtual, I'm trying to kind of change it up a little bit so that because we got kind of a small group tonight, so we can discuss it a little bit, which is cool. Okay. So this is a body learning on the concept that if we are aware of the habits in our lives, we can determine if they are increasing or decreasing our sense of peace. So think of a common ritual that you do on a regular basis. Driving to work, paying bills, shopping at the grocery store,
Brush your teeth.
brushing your teeth. Think of something that you do on a daily basis that has become a ritual.
Check the stock prices.
Okay. And does checking the stock prices have an effect on your state of mind on that day?
Well, when my portfolio hits an all-time high again, I kind of go woohoo, and then it goes down again. But it's just kind of fun to see it. It climbs gradually.
So that's kind of a mood altering thing.
Yes.
I see the scale that way. It's a mood altering device.
Mhm.
If I step on it and it's down, I'm happy. If I step on it and that little number has gone up, oh, I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I chose to remove from my life because it's on a daily basis not bringing me more light, love, and joy. So there's something there that's just not working for me. But okay, so thinking about one of those rituals, is it done in such a way as to promote peace in your life? If the ritual does not add to a sense of well being, determine a new way of choosing how to do the ritual. So I've also, I have a habit, and this one was passed down from my grandpa, apparently, on my mother's side, that if I get used to driving somewhere, I tend to want to go the same way every single time. Or I'll find one way that I think is better than the rest, and I'll label it, I will judge it. It's the right way. And if I'm in the car with you and you're driving and you want to go another way, oh, that's the wrong way. And I want to fight you about it because my way's faster and there's less lights. And you know, that left handed turn is always such a pain. So if you go right, it's going to be easier. So I have built in beliefs about how I'm driving from A to B. And if someone else is doing it and they don't want to go my way, it gives me anxiety. Sometimes it makes me mad. And so, in order to change that behavior for me, because I don't like feeling that way, doesn't work for me. So, in order to change that behavior, I'll just drive a different way. I'm making a choice. Today, we're going to go that way and get to Walmart. And tomorrow, I may go the freeway and get to Walmart. Or I may go to the one in Salem just to do something different. So it's about breaking up those things if they're not working for you. So does anybody else have one that they thought of that either works for them, brings them more peace, love, joy, or something that you want to shift?
Well, I brought up brushing your teeth, and there's been a couple of times where I woke up suddenly because something was going on and my routine was interrupted. So I didn't get to brush my teeth, and I'll realize a couple hours later how gross I feel. It was like, oh my God, I didn't get to brush my teeth because my routine was interrupted. And until I go in and do it, it's all I can think about, you know? And that's just good hygiene and all that. But I think I tend to be that way. It's harder to take care of my like medications and other things that I do for diabetes if my
Mhm.
routine gets interrupted. So there's that. And being regular about that, those kind of things are really important.
Yeah, especially when you have something as touchy as diabetes
Yeah.
to manage. Yeah, absolutely. So it's about finding a ritual that works for you. I had a hard time, as you get older and they start prescribing you medications that you have to take every day. I found I'm really, really not good at remembering to take things in the morning. But at night, I have developed a ritual where I take all my pills, take my inhalers, take all my stuff for my allergies, and then brush my teeth and go to bed. That I can remember to do. That one works for me.
Yeah.
So it's finding out what works in your life because it's going to be different for every person. We're all unique individuals who are having this fun, interesting, wild human experience, and we get to design it exactly the way we want to. You figure out what choices work. Anybody else want to share? I've also done the thing too they talk about with brushing teeth to do it with your other hand
Yeah.
just to see what it feels like to do something you do so regularly in the same way just a little different.
Yeah.
It feels all kinds of weird.
It does. When Kelton was little, we lived in California, and he got really ritualized because he's very autistic. And my mom would have to drive a different way to the grocery store every time, because anything you did more than once, then he'd get ritualized and he would scream if you didn't go that way. So I learned to be really random, abstract, and think of different ways and things to do. Because somebody, a teacher in a class, years later asked me why I was like that. And we were working on genograms, if you know what those are in your family history. And I said, I think I got that from mom having to do things differently. I mean, he got addicted to the same pair of pants and the same shirt and the same, so
Yeah.
she bought them, all alike, so he would put clean clothes on. But I think that our early childhood, Tanya, that you're talking about, it really does affect us a lot
Mm-hmm.
on what we do and how we do it. But I'm kind of glad I have a pattern for doing things differently too, because
Yeah.
it taught me to be spontaneous and that things don't always have to look the same.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I do tend to just get so narrow. I mean, if I left to my own devices with no one else in this house, I would probably eat the same thing every day, do the same things every day. And I've really sat down and said to myself, what's the point in being here on this planet if I'm experiencing the same thing every day?
Right.
I want to experience new things. I want to, and part of that too is I spent 2 weeks at my mom's house. And since my dad passed 2 years ago, she's sitting in her home watching TV. Her whole entire life right now revolves around the television. And some nights I'll call her and she's like, "Oh, it's Thursday. This and this and this is on. I got to go." And it's like, "Oh, okay." TV program has become way more important than anything else.
Hmm.
And it was a huge wake up call to value my friendships, make choices that get me out of the everyday, the boring stuff. Choose to do something different. Choose to see things from another person's perspective or a different option, and to challenge those things that keep me stuck. Because I don't particularly enjoy doing the same day over and over again. It can get like Groundhog Day, that movie. Did anybody see Groundhog Day?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It can get like that real easy. And
Um,
I want to experience something different.
Tanya,
Yeah.
what's the example of challenging yourself? Is that just doing it differently?
Yeah. Yeah. But also, I'm challenging my beliefs, because there are some things, like the example of all doctors are scary and should be avoided at all costs.
Oh,
That one didn't work for me. So, and Dr. Dyer gives you some questions to ask yourself when you're starting to see your choices be limited, and you can pinpoint a belief that's kept those choices right where they are. You can ask yourself, is it true?
Hmm.
So, are all doctors scary and to be avoided at all costs? Well, probably not. Even just a little bit. I have to concede that, yeah, okay, yeah, a little bit of that They're not all bad. So is it true? Where did that excuse come from? For me, that came right down from my dad. I know exactly who handed me that one, and I picked it up. I kept it. What's the payoff for keeping that belief? What's the payoff?
You continue to get what you've always gotten.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you don't, those patterns will keep repeating until you choose differently. My mom tells the story of her grandfather who every day, every night, he bought a case of beer and he'd come home and he'd drink it all. And it was bottles in those days, And in the morning, he'd take the bottles back. And he'd come home every night with a case of beer, and it became like your mom's TV. That's
Mm-hmm.
all he did. And he wasn't very, he acted differently because he wasn't himself. He was always drunk when he was around the family. And
Yeah.
that did not work. And she said until he quit doing that, he was pretty much alone. Everybody avoided him
Yeah.
because people act weird when they're under the influence.
Yeah. Yep.
Very true.
The next question was, what would my life look like if I couldn't use that excuse? Okay. Can I create a rational reason to change? Can I access universal cooperation in shedding old habits? Absolutely, because I can say, and I talk to my friends all the time and say, this is the habit I'm working on changing. This is the belief I'm challenging. So if you hear me say, try, right, wrong, should, call me on it so I can cancel that. And those are the ways that we can help each other to shift it. How do I continuously reinforce this new way of being? And the other thing you can do is sit down with a rapid eye technician and go through the pattern cycle. This is the pattern. This is the belief I've got. This is what's not working. And they can help you come up with those pattern interrupts that will assist you in changing what you want to change. Shifting, just shifting that kaleidoscope just a little bit can change everything. Just how you look at it. Um, because it really does. And that's the other thing Dr. Wayne Dyer said all the time was when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. It's one of my favorite memes that I found on the internet, and they wrote that out, and there's a picture of a bulldog on his back with his legs in the air. It's so cute because he's looking at the world from upside down, and that just reminds me to change how I look at things, shifting those beliefs, shifting the patterns so that I can have a different experience. I just want something different besides the day-to-day, the mundane. I guess my accountability at this point is that the same thing over and over doesn't work for me. And I see that in my mom, and I'm hoping that will change for her once she's here. Once I'm around her all the time, hopefully I kind of will be infectious and rub off on her too. So
Tanya, can you repeat what you said about when you change the way you look at things? What was that?
yeah, it's a Dr. Wayne Dyer's quote, and he says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely. Okay, so we've got Alan, that video I sent you, the short one.
Okay. This one here? Is this the one you want?
Yes. Yes.
Number one,
I
wake up
love
from
this
the
guy.
loop. You weren't put on this earth just to pay bills, play safe, and watch Netflix. You didn't come here to wake up, work, numb yourself with distractions, and then repeat it all over again the next day. That's not a life. You could write, build, learn something new. You could create something that makes no logical sense but feels like you. The point was never to survive, but to remember who you came here to be. Number two, vague goals equals delayed life. What kills more dreams than failure ever will is saying, I'll do it later. Your brain loves vague goals because then you never have to act. Sure, you want to start a business? Cool, so do 3 million people. But what's the first thing you're actually going to do this week? If you don't put a name, a date, and a tiny bit of pressure on it, it stays in fantasy land forever. So make the deadline, write it down, and hit it. That's how dreams become real. Number three, master the boring stuff. Successful people aren't smarter or more talented than you. They're just better at being consistent with stuff that is not always fun. The gym is boring, tracking habits is boring, making content when no one's watching is boring, but they do it anyway. Success doesn't come from motivation, it comes from repetition, from showing up when it's dull, awkward, and unsexy. And boring things become sacred when you realize they're the ones that are actually building the life you want. So there you go. And notice that I didn't ask you to wake up at 4 a.m. to take cold baths or to buy some fancy biohacking gadget. Just a few simple things that actually work if you do them.
Awesome. Thank you, Alan.
That's great.
Yeah. So I get to choose to do some cool stuff and to learn something new in the process. So, one of the things I'm choosing to explore right now is I want to start a podcast. And so I want to learn all about it, find out what my options are, what things I could do, what will possibly work or not. And it's one of those dreams, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. Because, in the video, he talked about when you find something you're interested in and want to do, to put it out there and to start really making a plan. And so that's what I'm choosing to do. I'm choosing to take a risk and do something different.
Well, what subject do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about healing and rapid eye and all things woo woo.
Okay,
Awesome.
cool.
So that's something I'm looking at. Does anybody else excited
Tanya,
about trying
I
something
just
new?
I just want to know if you're going to call it the Woo Woo Podcast.
Oh, we can do that. That sounds awesome.
That'd be interesting.
One thing that I've been doing that's new is there's a tech in Texas named Laura. She's interested in the tarot, the deck of tarot.
Yeah.
And she wanted to expand the Rapid Eye Advanced archetype sessions.
Yes.
One for each of the major arcana. So, and she asked me to write the script for them. So I'm on like, I don't know, the sixth or seventh one. And so I've been learning a lot about that. And we will have an edition soon, because she wants to just put it in the manual. So a session for each one of those. Now that might not work for the highly religious,
Yeah.
but for a lot of people, it would be super interesting. And then after that, she wants to expand that to writing a script for each one, like astrology. Like a Capricorn would have a different script
Yes.
to run, than a Leo. Okay. And writing one for each of those. And I think Amanda is working with Laura, and Amanda's doing the editing.
Cool.
I think that's really great. That's been a new thing. And Rapid Eye is a dynamic, changing model. And I think that this is going to be a really great way. I'm so glad we went digital, because our advanced manual is going to be huge. Because I might have to just start putting it in the master level just to, because the advanced manual is so interesting. And it has a lot of scripts for individual diseases that you can run, and a lot of things. So Yeah, I always tell rapid eye techs, you never have to worry about running out of sessions because you have content, just what you get at your training for more than 150 sessions probably. So, but that keeps me interested. It's exciting for when people come back to training. Your model or whatever you're doing needs to be dynamic. Okay. I'm sure on your podcast, you'll bring people in and interview them or talk about, whatever subject that you're dealing with in that moment. And
Mm-hmm.
that's really interesting to people.
Yeah, I
So
hope so.
yeah,
I I really
yeah,
like
let us
worms.
know how we can support you in that.
Thank you.
I've been
Yeah,
studying worms lately. So I have this compost pile. It's a square that's it's like 3 feet square. I mean, in height, and so it's like basically a yard
yeah.
of paper and leaves and all that. And so I piled it up and put the worms in there. Then the pile heated up super hot. I thought, oh no, I just baked the worms. And then when it cooled back down again, they appeared again. I thought, man, how these little guys survived that? I guess they must have walked, because they're just pallets, so they could probably escape, or I don't know what they did, but they survived. I just really thought that was fascinating.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, they say that stuff is really, really good fertilizer.
Oh yeah, they put out all those droppings, and then you put them on I put it on a tree that recently was planted, a cherry tree, and it wasn't very much. But as I watered it, the next couple of days, new sprouts are coming out. I mean, it's like wow, just
That's
a
awesome.
life, we've affirmed.
Yeah. We have poo pile pumpkins growing right now.
Cool.
Because I have a big, manure pile because I have horses and goats and sheep and all that kind of fun stuff. But yeah, the pigs love pumpkins. So we bought a lot of pumpkins last year. So they ended up out there. And I think that's where the poo pile pumpkins came from. So the pigs will have lots of pumpkins.
Excellent. Circle of life thing.
Yes. This fall. They love their pumpkins. Oh my gosh. I think we got a lot of them from you guys last year too.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch. You'll probably get some more.
Excellent.
They loved them. Okay. Is anybody else wanted to share something they're ready to make a different choice about and try something out of their comfort zone? Anybody?
I know Tyler should say something. He's starting something. He's starting a couple things that are really interesting.
What was it?
Well, you're kind of moving into some interesting things. You're doing the eye patching. You've been really going deep into it. I just thought maybe you might want to share a little bit about what you discovered or that you want to
Well,
share.
yeah, if I didn't want to say this in training because I didn't want people to get the idea that they were going to have something similar in experience. But the calming effect of eye patching was so intense for me at one point, and I told you this already, Alan. Maybe others hadn't heard that. Um, I was doing some kind of a task in the house, and I was striding through the living room, and we actually had a dining table there. Um, and in mid stride with full force, and this was while I was patching, smashed my toe into the bottom of the table.
Youch.
And the calming effect of the eye patching, because I was doing it for therapeutic purposes, was so intense, I didn't feel it. And I sat I sat for 5 minutes thinking about that, just how remarkable that was. And so I didn't share that particular instance in training because I didn't want to be sensational and give people the idea that they would have a similar success experience. But I thought that it was, or at least now I thought it would be worth sharing. And then also, yeah, Alan, you're right. Yeah, that's one thing that I really want to go farther with is promoting the benefits of eye patching, not just for balancing, for therapeutic purposes, and also just, and I know that we know this, is that for reading, it helps with reading at times, or it
Mhm.
helps. I give a patch to a neighbor of mine, um, not the one that lives across the street, but another one that lives a couple miles away, because she was just having something, she couldn't put her finger on it when she was reading. She was experiencing some what amounted to a headache, but she tried to describe it, and she's like, I wonder if using one of your patches would help, and it turns out that it did. So, and I
Awesome.
did let her know, make sure uh, you don't go heavy on one side for too long and get used to it by balancing on both sides. But yeah.
That's great.
Awesome. Yeah, I know David, when he was reading all of his rapid eye materials, read it while he was patching, and he felt like he retained the information easier.
Increased concentration, focus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll have to try that because for me, I tend to have to read every word literally. The voice in my head says it out loud. Does that make sense?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But other people can read faster than me. And a lot
Uh-huh.
of times I'll read a paragraph and go, oh, wait a minute, what did I just read? And I have to start over again. And so I will
Auditory
attempt
books might be good for you too.
that. I think so. But like, I listened to Let Them all the way to Montana and back. And now I have to go and get my hard copy and highlight the things I want to remember. That's what I've been doing with Excuses Be
Excellent.
Gone
Yeah.
too. But I will try that with the eye patch and see if it's different for me too.
Good.
Well,
That's a
I think the
cool.
main thing that you're saying is with choice and accountability is whatever you're doing, you're going to continue on in that until you actually choose to do something different. So if
Uh-huh.
you're one that does not read books, well, for heaven's sakes, read a book, or you will continue to be exactly like you are and continue to get exactly what you've gotten. And I know inside of us there is this desire to grow, to progress, to evolve, to move forward.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever it is that you do,
So true.
shake it up, man. Shake it up,
Yeah.
do it differently,
Yep.
and I am so grateful for my eyes that I can read. I love to be able to read, but I know that if something ever happened, I didn't have my eyes, I could always listen to a book. There's always a way to participate, just
Yeah.
like there's always a way to cross the room to get to the other side. There's a
Yep.
lot of different ways to do that. So
Yeah.
But
Thank goodness.
what I found cool was Adobe PDFs. You can have my phone will read them to me. So I
Oh,
can take
cool.
a rapid eye manual that's a PDF and I just tell the phone to read it to me. And
awesome.
I can listen to the advanced manual.
Good.
Awesome. That's great. I'm gonna have to try that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Audible, and I always have been one of those people that listen to music in the car, especially on long drives. I could sing along and keep me awake. But this last couple times, I was like, no, I'm gonna read this book while I'm driving, and I totally recommend "Let Them" by Mel
Yeah.
Robbins.
Let
It
me.
Yep, Let Them and Let Me. I loved that book, and so much in there, little nuggets of information that's still pinging around my brain that just really has helped a lot in my life. That and Dr. Dyer's Excuses Be Gone, but there's so many good ones from Wayne Dyer too. But okay, closing tonight. Do we always have a choice? Yes.
Oh, I see.
Sometimes 200 of them. But at least 10 good ones. And if it doesn't work out, we can choose again. Choose to see it as this works and that didn't work for me. And it just helps you be able to change and make another choice again. Okay, and our song tonight, because of course we have a song, is my favorite song when it comes to choice and accountability, because I choose love. And that's our song for this evening. And it was good seeing everybody. And go ahead and play Sean Galloway, Alan. There it is.
I can see laughter, or I can see tears. I see a choice, love or fear. What do you choose? I can see peace, or I can see war. I can see sunshine, or I can see a storm. What do you choose? Now I choose to love where freedom flies from my heart, where the light keeps shining. And I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I can see sharing, or I can see greed. I can see caring, or poverty. So what do you choose? I can see gardens, or I can see bombs. I can see life or death coming on strong. So what do you choose? Now I choose to love where freedom flies from my heart, where the light keeps shining. And I choose to feel the whole world crying for the strength that we can rise above. I choose love. I choose love. I see us healing, darkness die. I see us dawning as one world united. So what do you choose? Love or fear? Oh, we choose. I choose to love where freedom flies from my heart, where the light keeps shining. And I choose to feel
Great song.
Yeah, and a different video too. I thought that one was really good.
Yeah.
I
Thank
loved
you, Tanya. Thanks for being the presenter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much, Alan. Good job.
Thank you,
Yay.
Good job,
Tanya.
Ellen.
Thank you.
Ran really smooth. Thanks so much.
Have a good
Okay.
week, everybody.
Yep.
you.
See y'all next week.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.